offensive side, as well as all of us, will be there to help us. With that, I'll open it up.
Kirby, we haven't had a chance to talk to you since last week of off-field arrest for some players. I want to ask you about that, just your reaction to that, and also the steps you and the administration have tried to take in the last several months to avoid this kind of thing.
Yeah, disappointed, obviously, in those two young men and the decision-making process for each one. You know, both of them are, you know, younger players and have made crucial mistakes. As far as the process we followed, it's not been several months. You know, it's been several years in terms of defensive driving courses, having players ride and learn how to drive, just like my two kids did with a driver's service. Josh Brooks has done a tremendous job meeting with every player. And we've had several speakers come in, and we continue to educate, and we're not going to stop at that. You know, it's very unfortunate that you know, one of those young men got his driver's license within 1 month of that happening at 18 or 19 years old, and it's amazing how many kids come to school now without a driver's license. So it's no excuse, but one of those things we will continue to educate and discipline our guys to try to correct it.
Kirby, I think it was last week that you said you felt like you guys were a long way from good.
Yeah.
You guys are about halfway through spring practice. Where do you feel like you guys have made the most progress, and what are you still looking for with what's left of spring practice?
Most progress. Oof. We've practiced better since the last time I saw you guys. I think that I've had 3 practices since then. We had a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Saturday, and a Tuesday. They were actually, it was actually much better last Thursday in terms of throwing and catching. The offense jumped out ahead. Quarterbacks and receivers I thought had a good day. I'd be remiss if I tried to judge it today, but there's been growth. I mean, we put a big emphasis on running and stopping the run because we feel like we lacked in both those areas last year. So the spring practice has been shifted or adjusted a little bit towards stopping the run and being able to run the ball. I don't know if we've improved on it, but we've harped on it.
Coach, what have you seen from KJ this spring after you guys sent, 2 longtime safeties in Malachi and Dan off to the NFL?
Out of who, KJ?
KJ,
Yeah, he's kind of, like I think I talked about last time, he's kind of the veteran of the group without, I mean, he hadn't been here but a year. He's played the most football. He understands, he's very natural at understanding our defense. So I'm proud of where he is. He has to be careful that he doesn't become complacent or think that because he might know it the best, that he's where he needs to be. There's a difference, right? So intrinsically, he has to be motivated by trying to be great, and he's got to do that every day. He can't measure himself against what we have right now, and we're behind at that position. Like, we don't have Dan and Malachi, which were 2 really good staples. So I feel like we have like 5 or 6 safeties like in a big group, and right now nobody has jumped out in lead. So a lot of guys new there.
Yeah, when you talk about putting an emphasis on stopping the run, how far do guys like Chris Cole, Justin Williams, guys who will be taking on more of an every down role at linebacker, how far have they come in that area, and how far do they still have to go this spring?
Both going to be good football players. Both very conscientious, like hard workers. I've started a new ritual of like asking a guy at the end of practice who he thinks the hardest worker is. Like who works the hardest, who practices the hardest when you watch the tape. Who do you say has that passion and fire that's sometimes lacking all over college football now? It's a different climate in college football. So it's funny because Chris Cole and Justin Williams have both been mentioned multiple times by people as extremely hard work guys. Like, they work hard, and I appreciate that about them.
Kirby, what have you seen from Gunnar Stockton and Ryan Puglisi, and what is the state of your quarterback competition?
Yeah, both those guys are doing a great job. I'm really pleased with where both of them are at. Ryan's taking some reps with the ones. Gunnar continues to grow and get better. I think both those guys are doing a great job.
You guys are super young and outside linebacker. Quintavious Johnson's the guy we saw a little bit last season. What have you seen from him during spring practice so far?
Yeah, it's like I mean, I want him to be ahead of where he is, and he's not, and it's not his fault. I mean, again, he hadn't been here. He's been here a year in like what, 2 months? A year and 3 months. So when you're thrust out there into action against experienced tackles, an offense that moves in motions, and you have to adjust. I'm proud of Q. I want to be clear on that, but he has to get better to be at the level of let's call it like it is. He's got to be where Chaz was, or Aziz was, or Nolan was. He's not there. He has the ability to be there, but he is not there yet. And I like Q because he like works really hard. And then we got a bunch of young guys at that position. And Gabe's out for the spring, so he provides us depth, but he's not getting work right now.
We're just gonna get an update too on Branson and Robert Robinson coming off their injuries. How are they looking? What are they able to do right now in spring?
Not much. I mean, they're working out kind of separate from us, both dealing with significant injuries. So it's they're not going to do much during the spring. So they're working. They're over there doing things, but they're not with the team. They're not doing 11-on-11 or 7-on-7 or Indy or anything.
Yeah, what have you seen from Drew Bobo as he takes a step forward, and what makes maybe coaching him unique from any other player you've coached, given the close family ties you have with him?
Oh, there's nothing unique about coaching him. He's fun to coach. He works really hard. He's the only player on the team, or at least on the offensive line, that covers down 30 and 40 yards every play. I mean, you can pick out a play in practice, and he's running to the ball. He covers people up really well. He's got great quickness. He continues to work on his strength and power. He's been more consistent with his snaps, and he is bright. He understands what we're trying to do offensively, and he knows where to point, who to work to as an offensive line, and he, Ernest, and Micah are really pushing that group. Monroe's doing a good job too. He doesn't get to go with us, but those three guys are setting kind of the standard for the rest of the O-line.
The piece you were just talking about with the hard work and identifying guys post-practice, was there something in your off-season evaluation that made you guys want to emphasize this more in 2025, and what do you have to do to kind of try to bring the rest of the roster up to the work ethic of the top of the roster?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know that there's a remedy for getting the middle or bottom of the roster to work like the top. I don't know that they'll ever achieve that. I mean, the goal is to improve the roster and get them to move towards that, but it's some people, they're just not driven like others, right? I mean, our job is to find the right ones. Somebody said to me the other day, like, are you a good motivator? Can you motivate players? And I'm like, well, I'd rather get the ones that I don't have to motivate because they're self-motivated. It's the greatest kind of player to coach. And we're trying to err on that side more and more. But when you say off season, I mean, if there was one thing that I had to say outside our 4 DNA traits that we think was missing, I mean, I'm not saying as a whole, we have players that have passion and fire, but I think that's missing across some of college football. And so, like, who's gonna find that the most? Who's gonna have that the most? So we're trying to find guys that have passion, fire, and like it matters to them. Like they want to compete so hard it matters to them, and we're rewarding that every day with video and showing them.
Other than Nate, with Roderick and Branson limited this spring, how are the other younger running backs coming along?
Chauncey and Dwight have been great bright spots there. In my opinion, they both are getting better. They're competing. Dwight's hit some big runs. Chauncey's made some really good cuts. Nate's been very consistent. And then Dylan Bell has taken some reps there. We mix Dylan in practice to practice. He works in the slot. He's tried to develop as a wide receiver and a back. He's been great and like a good attitude and being committed to, coach, if it means me playing 10, 15 snaps at back, I want to do it. If I can develop as a slot, I want to do it. So those guys have been good. A couple of young guys, Michael Bell, Dylan's brother's done a good job in there getting reps. Wade Penn has done a nice job. So really proud of the way those guys compete and work and take their reps.
Kirby mentioned a couple of years of driving issues. Have you ever thought about saying, look, there's an ultimatum. Normally each guy is going to be judged on what he does first defense. That's just on you. But when you've had so many, have you ever said, look, the next person that this happens to, the consequences go up?
No, I don't believe in ultimatums when it comes to that. I really don't think that's a recipe for the problem. I don't think that solves anything. We'll continue to look at each one of these on a case-by-case basis, and there's things that surround each one of these outside of just the immediate reaction is, how in the world can this happen again? And I get that, but each one in a case-by-case basis, you have to look at it if these are your children, because that's the way I look at it. And I look at what I would do with my children, and there's 18 to 19 to 20-year-olds. They make mistakes, and the consequences that come with those are based on a case-by-case basis. And that's really what these two right now are dealing with.
Yeah, I think it was your first press conference where you said there are so few guys who have been here for 3 springs. I think this is Gunner's 4th spring now, if my math is right. But how has that benefited him this spring, just being one of the more experienced guys, not just on the offense, but the entire team now?
Yeah, it helps. I mean, he understands what we're trying to do. He's been through it. I mean, I think about if we had all gunners at every position, they understand the volume of reps, what we're trying to do. He knows the offense inside and out. And then I get frustrated and impatient when other guys don't know it like him, and you have to kind of slow yourself down and say, wait a second, this guy's going through, and I don't know if it's his 3rd or 4th. I'm assuming you're probably right, maybe it's 4th. These other guys, they're in their 2nd, they're 1st. I mean, it's a youthful team, and it shows itself in a lot of ways.
Hey, Kirby, I feel like when we talk about Justin Williams, we always lump him with Chris, but Justin Williams specifically, what have you seen from him, and just how far he's come in his time with the program?
Well, he's probably one of the most positive people I've ever been around. He inspires hustle, effort. I just love the kid's energy. He's never down in the dumps. He competes. I think that he is the kind of alpha you need at the inside linebacker position. He's gotten better. He's just tried to add some weight. He's still in that, 215, 220 range. I think he wants to be 225, so he's been fighting that. But man, he competes, and if we're basing our team and our roster and our culture on fire, passion, and energy, he embodies that. So we want to embrace that with him.
Yeah, what have you seen so far out of your wide receivers, especially having so many first-year guys with the program at that position this spring?
Day by day, there's days I want to see more toughness. I want to see more run through tackles. Don't lay on the ground. Don't hold your hands up if the ball's not in the right spot. Just body language drives me nuts. But that's not all of them. And they're getting better. Day by day, they're getting better. And there's good depth in that group. We're a little banged up. Landon's dealing with a little bit of a hamstring. Y'all know Tyler's out with an ankle injury. Colby's been dealing with growing. Cole Spear's been dealing with it. Like that's what it is. You're gonna practice 7 of spring practice. You got to show toughness and grit. And I like that group right now. I really do. I like that. I think that group has a chance to be good.
Kirby, with Brett Thorson's injury, is he going to be available by the time the season starts? What's the nature of that?
I think so. I honestly don't. Because he's not there now in the immediate. I hadn't really looked at it, but that's a typical, 9-month injury, 6-month injury, and it varies from person to person. So it is considerate that, it's significant that he is planting. He goes up on 1 foot leg and he kicks and he comes back down. That's significant. But I feel good about it. I also feel good about, Drew, the guy we got. So I feel confident about both those guys.
I was going to ask a 2-part thing also with Peyton Woodring. What are you looking? How do you think he's done last season? And was that kickoff in the bowl game a coverage issue? Was it something with the kick also?
No, it was cover. I don't remember the hang time on that kick, but he consistently does what we want him to do hang time wise. Probably not as high and as long as Camarda, but very consistent with the upper 25% of the SEC. I don't know on that particular kick offhand whether it hit his average or not, but we had failure there on coverage. We missed a tackle, and one of our best players who's been a starter here on that unit for 3 years, he had a chance to get him down. He didn't. He feels bad about that. I've been there before. that goes back to the man in the mirror speech. You know, only some guys have been in the battle. He's been in the battle and missed an opportunity, and then we had some guys stop when they thought he was going to get him, and he kept running like it's just a breakdown. Like, give them credit, but we didn't do our job.
What have you seen out of Ellis Robinson? You mentioned guys that have been hurt. Is he completely healthy? He's battling for a spot. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, he's playing good. He's practicing good. He's competing. He rolls in there. I think he, Daniel, and DeMello have all rolled through with the ones for a pretty significant time. They're going against some good wideouts. They keep getting matched up against the big guys, you know, in Colby and Noah, and even the other wideouts. So I'm pleased with where Ellis is. What I like about Ellis is he competes. He competes for the ball, and it like bothers him when people catch the ball on him.
Okay, Coach, thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.